Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? This is Larry the Lion Live. This is my podcast. Welcome to Friday. What day is it? August 11th. Wow. Time is just flying by. Can't believe that. So crazy. Of course I'm going to do my little sharing here. Go to the live. Go. Let me turn this down for a second. And I'm going to share to WhatsApp. I share to my friend Yee, Community Camp, Paulina, Hurtado, Mikey Subto Group, Multifamily Elephant Challenge with Julie Burkhart, and the Community Camp there. And then I share my YouTube over to a few people on Telegram. I like just sharing there because it's just, I don't know. I don't even know if they watch it when I do share. But I have a sub 2 Lions and the Lions Den there too on Telegram where I've got a record of each one I've shared. I know it's in my YouTube, but I don't know. I'm just weird. I do weird things like that, like doing a podcast. So we got that shared. Let me copy a link real quick. Share, copy link. Then we put this to Tigger. Tigger's gonna be my podcast. I meant to give that to Kieran. Kieran Bemula is my partner in the Launchpad Own Your Future Challenge Passive Income with Pace. He's doing 20 Zooms over the next 6 months of how to build passive income, selling your brand, building your YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, setting them up properly for social media. Let me see who else was I going to share that to. I'm going to share it to the hippie investor, Kristen Solara. And let me send this to Keegan, my partner here in Florida. Put this on to here. And oops, I meant to go put this in the chat for the growth company with Jesse Stanton. I just share this all over the place. Let's see. And one there. Okay. So happy Friday. Last night we had family night Zoom. It was amazing. It's one of my favorite parts about being a sub 2 student is the family night Zoom. It's so awesome. No, I don't want to update my phone number. It is the same number. Facebook always does that to me. Tells me update. Let me put this here. So Tigger's looking at my background. He said a cool background. Thanks, Tigger. Yeah, it actually needs updating. This one's still up here and above the sub 2 symbol, the peace sign. It actually says Larry the Lion 316. That used to be my Instagram. It's still my TikTok and Pinterest. But my Instagram I changed to Larry the Lion Parsons. And I might change that again too. I'm not set on the Instagram, but I'm gonna wait until what is that? My account didn't do something for 6 days. I'm still restricted. What is that? Community standards. So you can't do one or more things. I wonder if it's not getting shared to some of these places because every time I paste it in here, it keeps on giving me a notification that I can't share it to the groups that I was sharing to. But we'll see what happens. Maybe it's just certain ones. I don't know why my account would be restricted on Facebook. I haven't done anything except share this. Maybe there's certain groups that don't want it to be shared to. But I know I can't share the Gator method with Pace Morby, sub to private Facebook groups like sub to SoCal. Uh, but it keeps on popping up the screen. I wonder why. Doot. Wholesale hotline, herd of profits. I don't know why it keeps popping up, but can't do South Florida sub 2. JJ's Mastermind, wholesaling houses. There's ones that I don't share to, but apparently it says I'm still restricted. Oh shoot. Damn it. Oh shoot. Hold on, I gotta go in there and clean that one out. Oops, I accidentally shared to the SoCal Southern. Oops. All right, now I gotta go back in the groups and go to SoCal sub 2. Let's see where see all. Damn, I hate when I did that. Now it's taking my phone forever to load all the groups. I didn't mean to share it to the SoCal sub 2. I accidentally hit that button. Let me SoCal sub 2. There it is. Let's see if I can. Not now. Let's see. Sort newest activity. New posts. It didn't look like it's shared. Learn more. Let's see. Did I accidentally share that? It's not showing up that I shared it. Son of a biscuit. Let me see if I can search my post. And we'll delete that post real quick if it's up there. Well, it doesn't look like it's there. Maybe I'm not able to share to any of those places. Let me check another group. Let's see, community camp. Let me see if community camp. If I was able to share there. Nope, doesn't look like I was able to share there. Maybe it's not sharing to any of the Facebook groups. It says I'm restricted for 6 days. Let me see, new posts. Yep. It's not sharing to any of the groups, so I just wasted all that time. Sharing for nothing. So it's like, so this isn't going to all the Facebook groups that I normally do. I wonder why. But anyways, so apparently it's not sharing to all the Facebook groups. That's really weird. It doesn't matter. I'm here. Thank you guys for joining me. That whoever's going to be joining. So, last night the family Zoom was amazing. That was such a great time with Pace. He was on fire last night, breaking down his businesses, how we could set up ours, what we need to do. There's so much knowledge and love in that group. Just being part of the greatest community, sub 2. It was pretty cool last night. And he asked Pace, said, "Hey, people have been in here for more than a year. How is this changing? How has your life changed? And so many people were answering, and he was calling people out. And then I just put, my life has changed because because of this community. And he was like, Pace goes, Larry the Lion's life has changed. And then he goes, a little known fact, most people don't know this about Larry, but he was actually homeless. I was. I mean, this community has, built me up, encouraged me, believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. But I kept trying. I kept on being consistent, overcoming all the challenges that I had. And it was really nice for Pace to recognize me as Larry the Lion, which he he said that he loved that brand when we were in that Uber in New Jersey, just me and him. which was still incredible, Uh, and he mentioned that last night too about people being intimidated by him, or sometimes he is kind of intimidating, even though I'm super, we know each other super well, and I've talked to him so many times. We chat a little bit on Instagram, but I want to get on the level where he's knows my businesses and he's breaking it down for me, just like he knows some other students. He was talking to Maj last night. Maj is really cool, and I'm glad I've gotten to know Maj through the Deal Maker and Community Camp. He's a really amazing guy. But just having that family night is one of the best experiences in Sub Two. Those weekly family night Zooms are just incredible. I mean, if you're on the fence about joining Sub Two, you really should just jump in and join. Use my referral link. It's down in the description here, or it's in my Instagram, Facebook story right now. You'll see it'll say join Sub Two. Have Larry the Lion refer you. Um, it's the greatest community on earth. It's every single person that I know out of Sub Two, unless they didn't take action, they didn't go out and make friends, they didn't get involved, they just joined. If you don't take any action, it's not your life's not going to change. If you're not vulnerable enough to ask for help, to introduce yourself and say, "Hey," and then some people introduce themselves and they don't get a whole bunch of responses, but when they do, they don't follow up with anybody either. If you have to put some of the work in. You have to be an action taker, like we're doing with the passive income right now, Zoom. It's only the action takers that are going to go anywhere. Um, like he said, let the work be the filter, is what Donald Trump told him. Let the work be the filter. If you're going to either put the work in or you're not. And what he just we just started that. We're going on start of week 3, I think, with this. First week, second week. Yeah, this will be the third Zoom for the passive income tomorrow. Now, there was last week there was 1,000 people in that Zoom, and more than 500 people couldn't afford the $1,000 to buy the launch pad. So I was one of the grateful people. And then we had people that were able to afford that and had the resources to wait for Tony Counts to be reimbursed them, because Pace is paying for all that. So it's not costing you anything yet. Same thing with the $47 to join the VIP of the Own Your Future Challenge with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziano. I did a couple of the modules this morning on the launch pad. There's a lot of work, a lot of modules, and it's going to be hard to, but this is my fate. This is my destiny. This podcast, I want to become an aspirational speaker. I want to change people's lives. I want to, build a life. And I know it's been 18 months, but hey, I fucked up for 40 years. It's not even easy correcting 40 years of mistakes and disasters and coming back from that. And I'm not trying to elicit any empathy or sympathy, but just being truthful. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of challenges, and it's a lot of loneliness, a lot of mindset. Oh man, why am I doing this? Is anybody gonna actually listen? Is anybody gonna be care about what I have to say? And I'm finding out, yes, there are people. There's a lot of people. There's people that I don't even know. Like when I went to the Deal Maker in New Jersey, and Carl Allen came up to me and gave me a big hug. He said, "I'm proud of you, son." That meant a lot to me. And then right after that, have Vina Jetty invite me. I mean, well, at the end of the Deal Maker, Abraham Gray tells me, "Hey, Donna, his wife, she said she needs you, and you're her right hand man, and you have to come to all the Deal Makers." Um, those are the results of being consistent and being consistently vulnerable. Not afraid to ask for help, even though it sounds like I've asked for a ton of help. Well, I have, but uh, I do promise everybody I'll pay it back, pay it forward to people that help me, and it's getting easier. Things are more manageable. So a lot of the craziness has died down. I go back and look at my very first podcast, and it's disturbing to me, because that was December 22nd, 2022. and it was only 3 hours or 3 minutes and 58 seconds. I got you, Peggy. Understood. Oh, that's Alicia Tompkins. She's the head of enrollment. That's who my link goes to. She knows. I'll make sure that the people, if they're applying, I'll tell her, hey, they just clicked onto my link out of a Zoom, etc. Like that. I'm ahead of you on that. I got you. But um, I go back and look at that first podcast, and I still had a lot of issues at that point. A lot of things I could still see in my face and the facial expressions that I made. Um, People that are on drugs, they do certain, face movements. Their eyes move a certain, different way. You can actually tell. There's telltale signs. Not everybody can tell, but I could tell. I was like, wow, oh my God. Even though it had been 10 months at that point, I could still see it in me. But I don't see them anymore, as I'm evolving and growing. So, um, absolutely, Pace wants people to squat up. Um, so like Tigger and me and Kieran and I guess Vivian Parker is her grateful person. Um, we're gonna squat up and see how we can help each other. You have 19 years. Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a while before I have 19 years. Uh, but it's a certainty at this point for me. There's one of the which I don't recommend anybody do exactly what I did, but you do have to create distance between friends and family if you're having you're overcoming some kind of addiction issues or abuse or something. You don't necessarily have to walk away from everybody like I did and just cut all ties with them and build a whole new life, but you do need to create distance. You can't spend as much time with them, or you have to be selective with your time because they're the first ones. They're going to bring negativity in their lives. They're going to be the first ones that are going to talk you out of your dreams and tell you can't do this. They're going to be the first ones. They're going to say, "Oh, you don't deserve this," and then it's going to start playing on your mindset. Or then you'll have some. They'll be like, "Well, you owe me for this," or whatever. There's going to be all kinds of different situations that come up as you're trying to build a new life or create a new life from leaving your 9 to 5 to become a real estate investor or entrepreneur. You're gonna have big crazy dreams, and there be people, oh, you're nuts. You're dreaming too big. You can't dream, like, literally you cannot dream big enough. You have to realize that it's your mindset, and you cannot have too big of a dream. There's no dream that is too big. You just Your limiting beliefs are the ones gonna talk you out of it at the end of the day. It, Other people can you overcome. You can ignore what they're gonna say, but it's your mind when you say, "Oh, geez, this is too big of a dream." Like, I think I have some pretty huge dreams, and I could probably dream bigger. um, you're welcome, Peggy. Yeah, definitely The Sound of Freedom. Um, if you guys still haven't seen that yet, please go watch that. Go to one of them nice theaters. You got the movie and dinner. Have some dinner. Make a night of it. Be prepared to cry a lot. It's very disturbing, the content in The Sound of Freedom. But if you're gonna say, "Oh, it's not happening," you're gonna turn a blind eye to it. You're part of the problem. If you don't recognize that and believe that, just because you haven't seen it and you're not doing anything, and maybe you haven't donated, maybe you haven't talked about it, maybe you haven't had the conversation. That's the problem. We're not having the conversation. Child trafficking and human trafficking and slavery exists more now than it ever did. more than the Egyptians and the Hebrews, which were there's been slavery for ever since the beginning of time. There's been slaves. Today, there's more slavery than any other time in the history of the human race, and it's sex slaves, it's labor slaves, like the cobalt mines in Africa. Those people are literally slaves. They're like using their fingers to dig through mud and stuff and find pieces of cobalt that power your cell phones. The diamond trade. There's children being kidnapped from all over the world and being brought to the United States on the southern border and released into our country to be God knows, and God only is the one who can stop that from happening. But you can stop it by going and see the Sound of Freedom and donating to the rescuefund.org or any of the other organizations out there. But the rescuefund.org, 100% of your donation goes to rescuing children. So it's in the link down below. Now I got sidetracked. But big dreams. You got to have huge dreams. You got to have massive, big dreams. Like I told Pace that day in New Jersey at the airport, I said, I'm going to be speaking to 100,000 people at Allegiant Stadium 10 years from now. And he was like, what? He goes, I've only spoke to like 5,000. He was being Pace, like, like, come on, man. And I said, so I said, Pace, I mean, you spoke to more than 5,000 virtually. You've already been on Tony Robbins' stage one other time, with Dean Graziano, and now you're going to be on there again. He goes, yeah, that's true. And I go, but he says live. I've only spoke to maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people live. I said, well, I didn't say I was going to fill that stadium. It could be filled by someone. It might be me filling it, but it could be filled for various different reasons. But yeah, so and Peggy even see where you can't see this, Peggy, but so Pace commented on my story. He put a heart on it. The one that I said to the subto-typeform.com, click the link, join subto, Larry the Lion referring you. Of course, if somebody clicks on that link and I don't know them, Alicia's going to ask me about it. And check this out. So I applied for a job at New Reach. Alicia Tompkins, I might not get that. I think they've already filled the high ticket sub-2 sales position. But there's a couple other ones. Who knows? And like Pace was talking about people working for him. I'm not working for him, but I'd be working for Joshua Grimes, who is one of the Pace's pit partners, integrators, like Cody Barton. Joshua Grimes runs New Reach. And thank you, Peggy. Alicia Tompkins, I said, hey, I need a job because this job is really difficult. It's 4 hours on the bus. I figure out that the buses that I have to take to get it under 5 hours a day every couple. Sometimes it's uncontrollable, but I got it as 4 hours on the bus and 8 hours here, and I get 1 hour here, 2 15-minute breaks, 30-minute break to do this podcast, to be consistent, to be relentlessly consistent, because this is important to me. This is what I'm doing here. It may not look like it right now, but it does. And I've had so many people tell me, even in the past, what's it been, 7, 8, 9, 10 months doing this podcast. I mean, it only started out like, there was no schedule at some point, but I have changed people's lives. I have helped people. There's two friends of mine due to meeting me through this podcast, Joshua Grimmett and Karma Senga Lagro. Both joined Sub2 and are both great guys for Sub2. But they would have never met me. They would have never found me. They would have never, maybe they would have joined Sub2 at some point. But it was because of this podcast. Or there's other people say, hey, they've seen me, they encouraged me, they did something that they wouldn't have done if they hadn't seen me on here. Or people that have reached out to me and said, hey, I did donate to the rescue fund. Thanks you for sharing that thing. And even Pace told me the other day, he said, thank you for creating awareness. Because I told him in a message on Instagram, I said, hey, I only donated $10. That's all I could afford. But I'm gonna mention it every day on my podcast. And he goes, I thank you, brother. Thank you for doing that. Because if I can't donate, if I don't have a lot of money, because it's just, I'm keeping my head above water right now. I can raise awareness by speaking about child trafficking, putting it out there every day, making sure you, the viewers here or anywhere, see that, and I'll put it in my stories. I'm always going to create awareness about that, because have to be consistent with those things too. A lot of people, when they get on these causes and movements, they're gung ho right in the beginning, and then they precipitously fall off. They forget about it. All of a sudden, then they just stop posting. They're like, "Well, I'm not even making a difference. Why should I keep on bringing this up?" Well, that's why things fall off. That's why people lose awareness. They get shiny object syndrome. Not saying there's different things, different charities, different stuff, but in general, people see this and then they stop doing another thing. So my commitment to those children, because God's children are not for sale, is I will continue to bring awareness to child trafficking. I will continue. That's my promise. My consistent, like I said, I was going to be consistent with this podcast. That was like back in February when I made that video. I can't even find the one that I made. It was a video I made for my future self, or I was supposed to watch it every time I felt like giving up, or quitting, or not believing in myself. I made one where I was talking to my future self, and I'm talking to my future self again right now. You can't give up on those children, just like Tim Ballard couldn't give up on them. Maybe I can't go infiltrate the crime organizations that are doing it, but I can continue to bring awareness to it. I can continue to bring it out into the light. I continue, maybe as I create more wealth and create more opportunities for myself, maybe I can give more. But what for right now, this is what I can do. This is my contribution to those children, because God's children are not for sale. So therescuefund.org. So please go check that out. Go see The Sound of Freedom. If you're able to donate at the end of the movie, they have a QR code that appears when Jim Caviezel is speaking of it. You scan with your phone, donate a ticket to somebody that can't afford to go, so people can continue to have this as a conversation, have this out in the, because the dark forces that actually control this world, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, Illuminati, all this, they have 100 different names for it. The pedophilia is real. The elites, there's some, Jeffrey Epstein's and, Bill Clinton's and stuff like that, Bill Gates, those are all, that shit's all real. You can try to deny it, but it's real. And that's part of the problem. What was this? For yeah, well, I'm gonna be, is that 2:30 Arizona time, 5:30? I might be able to make that. Yeah, I ain't gonna make that. I don't get off work till 6 p.m. here, so yeah, have to miss it. It is what it is. But yeah, so let's see, what else was I gonna talk about? So we were looking at it last night, and Pace was talking about getting virtual assistants, what you're costing yourself by. So what do you, for to get 4 deals a month, you need to get 120 motivated seller leads a month, which is only 4 leads a day that you would have to contact to get 4 deals a month on average. So me and Tigger were talking about that last night. Tigger's my partner. Subto and Tigger 2, that's going to be her podcast. Can't wait till she starts doing it, Tigger. But she's got such a cool name too. We Pace Pace told us both, like we have perfect, names for this passive income challenge. Building our brands, like he told me in the Uber at the airport in New Jersey. He he was like, Larry the Lion. He goes, "Do you want to sell that?" He goes, "I'll buy it right now." No, he didn't say I'll buy it. Right. He goes, "You should sell it." And I was like, "Hell no." He's like, "Good answer." Um, you know, Tigger's got Tigger or Sub 2 and Tigger 2. It just rolls off nice, sounds nice. She had a nice graphic artist do something for her. That's another thing. Part of this passive income challenge is going to be about building brands, and like I made this right behind me. Whatever. Here, let me go over here this side. Oh, wait, this side. I made this myself using CapCut. That's one of my favorite apps is CapCut. I use CapCut for everything. It's only $7.98 for the Pro. There's very few things I pay for. I had to restart my YouTube. I was trying to cut costs everywhere. I have my Prime Corporate Services that it's got to get paid every month because I have to have my LLC and the virtual agent for that. There's YouTube, CapCut, my T-Mobile bill, and pretty much just about it. And food. Food is like one of the most expensive fucking things right now for me. I need to just start starving myself again and go back to one meal a day, which I got away from just because it's so hard. I don't have a stove at the house where I'm living that I'm trying to buy. There's a toaster oven, but what can I do with toaster oven? I can do stuff with the microwave a little bit. I'm making excuses. I just need to get back on the one meal a day, but I wanted to eat a more higher protein. You have some, like mushrooms in there, like the different like cordyceps and lion's mane and the mushroom type coffee stuff. Stuff that I can't really afford right now, but I'd like to. As doing a one meal a day. I love the fasting of it, but you got to have the proper nutrients in there too. That's going to be part of this Own Your Future challenge where we're making courses and we'll be like, hey, people will be like, come up. People have often said it to me, how did you lose 170 pounds? And it was actually, I had lost that in 11 months. I've plateaued since January. I have not got lower than 274. I'm at like 280 something right now. I plateaued. I haven't been doing my Crunch Fitness either since I got back from New Jersey. Um, it's just having to do this job. I'm already spending 12 hours on the bus getting here and getting it. Like I literally woke up at 7:28 today. I had what is it? 23 minutes to get out the door to catch the bus coming here. I did. I took a shower, shaved, did everything. Had one cup of coffee. Now the goals are always changing, evolving based on things that are happening in sub 2 in the community, like passive income. But I don't the only biggest thing I say is whatever you do, take action, be consistent, reach out for people to help you. There's so many people out there to help you. Be vulnerable. Realize you can't do everything by yourself, and that's why Pace has built this community. It that's why you need to rely on it. So many people try and do it out of themselves. They have insecurities and fears and mindset. Um, Look at me. If I can do it, you guys can do it for sure. I mean, like even Pace told everybody last night. He said Larry the Lion was homeless at one point, and look at what Sub 2 has done for him. Just saying. He never lies. Um, you know, it's like I said, I 18 months ago. It'll be in 2 days. It'll be August 13th. It was February 13th of 2022. 18 months ago, I was literally on the streets of Las Vegas, and I go from that 18 months to being part of the greatest community on earth, being invited to masterminds like Dealmaker, community camp, and you know, God knows I'd love to go to the sub 2 mastermind, but that's $15,000 next year. Next year, we still got the sub 2 meetup at Disney, October 18th and 19th, and then we'll be in Arizona, in Scottsdale for the Dealmaker. Probably will be living there. Me and Tigger are working on that sub-2 house. Let me call that agent real quick, though. Thanks, Tigger. She said my background is cool. Where's that agent's phone number I gave her? Sonia Wolford. Oh, I got Tigger, if you're watching, did you call Rosa yet today? Hold on. I'm gonna call this agent Sonia Wolford. Call her back. See, I don't get to make all these calls to the agents like I used to. I used to love doing my 10-hour Zooms.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Sonia. How are you today?
I am well. This is Larry.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I am well, Larry. Hey, I have to say, you definitely are persistent, which is a great quality to have. But in this case, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to pay off because I have discussed our conversation with the seller. He is definitely not in the position. He needs to utilize his VA benefits.
Oh, so
and
yeah.
He's not in the position. Yeah, so he cannot carry the loan. So let me ask you. You mentioned a couple of times. What line in the contract did you say you made mention 300 and something maybe line? What was the line?
So in the
what line number?
did you open up that Word document I sent you?
No, I haven't. I saw your email. I haven't had a chance. Yesterday was a convoluted day for me, and today promises to be probably the same way. That's why I wanted to make sure I spoke to you this morning.
No worries. No worries. So it's the very first thing in that Word document is the Code of Federal Regulation for concerning real estate. Page 396, line 203 of the Code of Federal Regulation states when a buyer is assuming or taking title subject to these terms. So we don't assume the mortgage. We're taking the title subject to these terms that we will make payments on it with a third-party servicing company, and the deed will transfer to us. So, but everything in that Word document, it'll breaks down everything from the DTI, the debt to income ratio, how 75% comes off, and by a year, 100% of the DTI will be returned. So they don't have any debt to income ratio, or things like the due on sale clause, which is extremely rare because the banks don't care who's making the payments. If they've got a payment being made, they're not going to check. They're not going to call up. Hey, are you still holding the deed? Is the deed still in your name? They're not going to do that. The only way they're going to find out is if somebody tells them. And it's only come up about 5 times in 10 years and over 10,000 transactions with my partner Pace Morby and Scott Horn. So, and if it does happen, we can do things like put it into inter vivos trust or a land contract or a lease option where our beneficiary is our LLC and the seller's the other beneficiary. And things like transferring utilities and insurance. We'll always have insurance on the property, and the seller will also be the second in the insurance. So everything is always done correctly. It's been done for over 100 years. Like I said, it probably wouldn't work because of the VA. That's an amazing loan that he had at 2.9%. Would have been incredible to get that. But it could work for something in the future. And like I said, I can help you with those pre-foreclosures, your expired listings. These are all different options. And we can do straight seller financing. Somebody wants, as long as we get the terms we want, I can give them the price that they want. Now, if they want better terms, then they have to give me concessions on the price, stuff like that. So there's tons of ways we can work together and make sure you get paid, because I always want my agents to get paid first, because you're the front line. You're the one that's going to bring me these opportunities. So that's why I always want to make sure I take care of you first.
I appreciate. So let me ask you in bottom line in a nutshell, what I mean, there are risks, obviously, to the seller.
Sure.
I'm not talking about this seller, right? I mean, I'm talking
Right.
about
Right.
any seller. Because if you default, something happens to you, you're not able to perform, uh, they are going to be responsible for the loan no matter what. So they could even lose their home at that point if they're not able to afford a double payment, in some instances. So what is the risk to you as the buyer in a situation like this? Because it seems like everything is in your favor and nothing in the favor of a seller. So what is your risk?
We don't really have any risk except
Right.
uh but to the seller, the way the seller is covered, we use a performance clause or a performance deed. If we don't make our payment, they're able to just call the title company and take the deed back. Now we've improved the property most 90% of the time. We made it into a midterm, a short-term rental, or something that way. We've maybe done some cosmetic work in the kitchen and stuff. But it's got the only way it works for us is if it is a rental and it's cash flowing, or even breaking even, because what we're buying is the interest rate. We're That's all we're really buying. We're not buying the property, but we do get the appreciation, and that's something that you and me both know, but the sellers don't know. Is this is a cycle. The real estate cycle is every 10 to 15 years like this. You would get these dips and they go back up. And that's where the appreciation comes in. So say and nobody ever misses their payment in the first year or so. The thing that I would be worried about as a seller is if they didn't have the track record of our team. Like I said, we're in 18 different states. We've been doing this for years now. We've never missed a payment. That's why we use the third party servicing company, Westar, to make payments directly to the mortgage. And every time they make a payment, I get an email and the seller gets an email as well. And then if they have equity and we're making payments on that, again, Westar makes the payment on that. And if they have an HOA, Westar makes the payment on the HOA. So every time Westar makes the payment, say they have HOA, they got solar, they have some equity, and they have their mortgage, they're going to get 4 emails showing that we've made the payment on time. Something happens to us, me and my partner get kidnapped by aliens, we don't make our payment. All they have to do is call the title company. Hey, I want my deed back. They missed their payment. Most times we put in there like we're going to put like a cushion of 3 payments if that happens. So the seller, if it does happen, something God forbid, tragic happens to us, they get the property back. They're free to call you up, relist it, rent it out. It's probably already has tenants in it at that time, or has Airbnb or midterms, so it's already cash flowing. So the risk is minimal for them. Like again, I said, if it's somebody that's a YouTube warrior and doing this the first time by themselves, there's a lot of those guys out there, you know, that would be the thing that I would be concerned with the seller. But we have a track record where we can show you dozens of deals that we've done that are active. We're making payments on them with Westar. There's a whole lot of mitigation that we can show that we're doing the right things. Does that make sense?
Well, I would. Yes, it does, and just like you mentioned, it's case per case. This may help somebody who is up against the wall and has no other recourse to look at before the bank comes in and takes over the home. This is a much better alternative and a chance that they're taking in lieu of not losing their property, or something along those lines. It's not for everybody. Unfortunately, for my seller, it's not at this point. But I have your information. I will keep your name and number, and in the event that I run across somebody that says, "Hey, this is I'm up against the wall. I'm about to jump off the bridge. What can I do?" And this may be a situation that, even with the risks to them, it may be less risky than, for sure,
Right,
losing it to
absolutely.
a bank.
Now, I am actively looking for a primary residence for me and my partner in Gilbert, Mesa, Chandler, um, and maybe Tempe area. Would you be able to keep an eye out for me, or maybe pull some expired listing lists, or just pull some low equity lists for me that I could contact those? Maybe we could work with the agent that's on it. You guys to do a split commission, because we're really looking for it. And it has to have a pool. That's the one thing. It has to have a pool, and we need at least 3 bedrooms, preferably 4 or 5, but at minimum of 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a pool.
Okay. And what's your price range?
Doesn't matter. I mean, we want probably at least 400,000 or up. We don't want, a sub-level property. If it does need work, we can work a lot and put some work into it, but primarily looking for the low equity one. So just keep an eye out there for me.
Okay, and then your condition or your ability to buy it would be using the same system, basically having the seller carry it for you.
Yeah, do a subject to, or if they own it outright, it'd be a seller finance, seller carryback. And we'll work, like I said, I can give them the price they want if they give me the terms that I want. Now, if they want better terms, they have to give me concessions on the price, that type of thing. Everything's negotiable,
Okay.
but I always want to make sure you get taken care of.
I appreciate that, and I will keep you posted, and I appreciate your call this morning.
Thank you, Sonia. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. So I think I gave a good that was a good clinic on talking to agents right there. So if you got some value today, put a couple of hearts in the comments, the likes, or do something. But I got to go back to my W2. It's 1:17. I'm already 2 minutes late. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you. I'm probably going to do some long 10 hours or something on Saturday, Sunday like that, calling agents, looking for a sub-2 house to get to Arizona. So, all right, guys. So I got to run. Talk to you later. Thanks. Remember, therescuefund.org. Only you can stop child trafficking. God's children are not for sale. Hey, Diana. Thanks, friend. Good to see you.